Sorry, but how do they measure these things? 285%. Huh? Whoop! Hang on a minute. 10 hours? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be testing the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I have seen this everywhere, all over my Instagram, all over my TikTok, so I thought I would do a full video dedicated to it and like a wear test and everything, how it performs. Obviously at the moment my face is a different colour to my neck because all the tan has washed off my face, but I went for the shade 4. Have you guys heard of this foundation? Have you tried it? Let me know in the comments down below, and yeah. Let me just zoom you in and we'll get started on the review slash testing slash first impressions. Also, I got my hair done a couple days ago, so it's a bit darker than it was before, and I really like it, although maybe not so much without the tan on my face. So I'm actually using half natural light today, so I've got my curtains open a little bit, and then I've got 2 soft boxes as well, but they're sort of pointed away from me so that it's not like too overexposed and bright. So a little bit about this foundation. It's called Charlotte's Beautiful Skin Foundation, and it says, for your best healthy looking skin day every day. Skin looks more radiant by up to 285%. Sorry, but how do they measure these things? 285%. It says it's long lasting and pollution defense. A lot of foundations seems to say that these days, but is that just like a gimmick? Pollution defense? What does that even mean? It's supposed to have undetectable coverage, improves the look of skin with each wear. Huh? Oh, it's because it's got like skin ingredients in it. It's got like hyaluronic acid in it and stuff, so I guess that's supposed to help. Clinically proven results: boost hydration by up to 166%. Skin looks plumper and smoother by up to 181%. Skin tone looks more even by up to 210%. I mean, obviously it's going to look more even. It's a foundation. And it says that it's medium coverage and light as air. Oh, what have I done with my sponge? One sec. It was on the floor. It is £34. I'm just going to prime my face, and I'm using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer because this is what I would normally use like on a daily basis, so I don't want to do anything too different. So yeah, like I said, I got the shade 4 Neutral. I do have a couple spots today, like hormonal breakout on my cheek and then a little spot up here by my eyebrow. So we'll see how well it is able to cover those. It comes in 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 shades. Looks like a pretty decent range. I think it looks really nice. I love a squeezy tube. Oh, it's got a pump. Okay, it's not a squeezy tube, but I don't know, there's something about this. They're easier to travel with as well because they're not as heavy. Okay, let's give it a shake. Whoop! So that's about like 1.5 pumps. Huh, you know what? It's actually thicker than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be more sort of runny than this, but this looks like the shade much is going to be pretty good. Hang on, I feel like I do need a little bit more on my forehead and chin. And a bit on my nose. Let's try one side with a brush and one side with a sponge. I tend to find that, oh my god, hang on a minute. That just sort of disappeared into my skin. I can't even see where I put it and where I haven't put it. Part of me just wants to put this on with just a brush, because with more glowy foundations, I tend to find that they work a little bit better with a brush. But let's try the other side with my sponge. I think this is the Ofra sponge. You know what's really weird? It just sort of seems to like melt almost into your skin. Like I can't even see where I'm blending it out, but I can see that it's making my skin look nicer. But one thing I will say, it's not got as good coverage as I sort of thought it would. So I probably will end up adding a second layer, but so far, you know what, maybe even I would need the next shade down for it to match my tan, because I feel like this is a little bit light. Actually, no, I think it's alright. I think it'll be fine once I've got my bronzer and concealer on and everything. Oh my god. Wow. I've got to say, guys, you can't even really see it on my skin, but it sort of just looks a bit like a filter. It's not as glowy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like really radiant and light reflective, but I would say it's sort of like a satin finish rather than a full-on glow finish. So obviously it's not full coverage. You can still definitely see my blemishes and like the dark circles under my eyes and stuff, but it just looks very, very smooth. Like, look at my forehead. It's almost like my skin, but better. I don't have any foundations that have this kind of finish. I'm gonna add another layer. Let's do one more pump, and I'm gonna put some there. Well, everywhere. I think I did slightly prefer the application with a brush because I feel like it just spreads a little bit better. Let's try and get some on that spot up here. Okay, it's definitely buildable. Oh my god. Also, I can't see any like streak lines from my brush. It just looks seamless. I don't know. I really hope this is coming across on camera. It's called Beautiful Skin Foundation. I'm not even trying to kiss Charlotte Tilbury's ass here. Like, if I didn't like it, I'd tell you, but my skin actually looks beautiful. So this is obviously with no concealer, just the foundation. What I will just do is I'm just going to turn off my softboxes so you can see it in true natural lighting. I won't be able to continue that throughout the day because obviously it's going to get dark, but this is natural lighting. So I've got a window in front of me. It still looks quite dark. I think my skin looks really, really beautiful. I really, really love the finish of it. Okay, I've turned my lights back on now, so I'm just gonna do the rest of my face. So I'm gonna put on some of my Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I've got the shade Swan for under my eyes and then Vanilla for my blemishes. But you know what? When I added the second layer, it's actually given quite a bit of extra coverage to that big fat mountain on my cheek. It kind of reminds me if I mixed another foundation with the Flawless filter, because it's almost got like a bit of radiance like the Flawless filter does, but nowhere near as much glow. But if you like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter, I reckon you probably really like the finish of this, because it's almost like a more toned down version, you know? If you're new here, by the way, my skin type is oily with dry patches. It's kind of a weird one. It's like oily but dehydrated skin with the occasional eczema flare up. I am expecting this to get oily after a few hours because it is a more glowy foundation. I'm not actually going to set my face with setting spray today, but I am going to set it all over with powder just because that's what I would normally do and I want to compare it to the rest of my other foundations that I like. Let's go full on bougie today. I've got Charlotte Tilbury foundation, may as well go all out with the contour and blush things. So let's use the contour wand in fair medium. Oh my god, I just squeezed way too much out. Oh, I wish you could put it back in again. I don't want to waste it. Thank god this blends so easily. Laura Mercier translucent powder. So with powder, it still looks really flawless. Well, I think this will be a nice little test to see if our products work well together, you know? So I'm just going to use a little bit of this. And what I am sort of expecting to happen is, like with most foundations that I test, if you've never watched my channel before, they will get oily after a few hours. But as long as it doesn't start like separating, then that's fine. On a regular day, I would touch it up with powder and stuff. But I'm just interested to see sort of like if it gets overly glowy throughout the day, because obviously it was glowy when I put it on. Now that I've powdered it, it obviously looks matte, but I'm curious to see how glowy it gets throughout the day. We're just going to pretend that this spot is a mole. You know what? I do actually have a mole right next to it. So one of these is a mole and the other one's a spot, which kind of fits in quite well because it just looks like a beauty spot, you know? And a little bit of highlight and then a little bit down my nose. So I'm just going to do my eyebrows and my mascara and then I will be right back. But without all of that done, this is what the foundation is looking like with powder and bronzer and blush and everything. I think it looks beautiful. It looks really flawless. I'll be right back. I'm going to do my brows and all that jazz. On my lips, I'm going to use my Revolution lip kit, and this is the Toffee Drizzle one. But I just use this very lightly because it is actually a really dark pencil. It's quite dark. And then just sort of blend it in. Take my finger and sort of like wipe off the excess. And then take the tinted lip balm. This is how my makeup is looking now that it's all powdered. Let me just get really up close for you. And then let me just turn off my lights again. So with just natural lighting, this is what everything looks like. I think it looks really nice in both artificial and natural light. So I put the foundation on my face at about 1:15. It is now currently 1:56, so it is nearly 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I will check back in with you guys in a few hours and I'm going to wear it for the rest of the day and see how it holds up. So I will see you in a bit. I think me and this foundation are going to be friends. So since I last saw you, which was at nearly like 2 o'clock. At that point, the foundation had been on for like half an hour. I went and took Pinky for a walk and I actually got really sweaty. It was sunny today. It was nice and sunny, but it said like on the weather app that it was 6 degrees. So I thought it was going to be cold. So I wore a big coat and I was roasting. I should have come and filmed a check-in at that point, but I completely forgot. I sat down to edit and honestly, I have not moved in about 4 hours. The time is currently 22 minutes past 7 in the evening. I was about to go cook dinner and then I thought, I'm sure there was something I was supposed to do. And it was come and film a foundation check-in. This foundation has currently been on my skin for 6 hours. I haven't touched it. I haven't touched my face. It looks more shiny on this side of my face because this light is closer to me. Let me just turn this round slightly. No. Let me just move this one more. Okay, I guess that is more of an even representation. However, bear in mind, I do have very big, bright softbox lights on me. If I turn both of them away from me, actually, I'll show you what it looks like without the reflections. I don't know if that's helpful at all, but this is the sort of more realistic level of shine. Just for the purpose of this video, so that I can show you all the texture and everything, I'm going to point them a bit more on me. So you may notice that, yeah, my face has definitely got oily. I'm definitely getting the most oily around my nose, which, and like these little sections here, which is very standard for me. But at this moment in time, there is no separation. And on my nose, sometimes my nose goes like really awful with foundations where it will like really emphasize my pores and everything. It still looks so smooth. I mean, for a start, my forehead still looks so smooth. It's not got like crazy oily. Hopefully you can sort of see around my nose, it still looks smooth. And actually on my nose, the foundation still looks smooth and it's not broken up around my nose, or like round here or anything, or around these bits. One of the first places that I tend to notice foundation breaking up is around my mouth, but it still looks really good around my mouth. You can still see my blush and bronzer. I'm gonna go and cook my dinner. I'm not gonna add any powder. If I was gonna be wearing this, not filming, I would obviously powder my face at this point, but what I'm just gonna do is just literally dab with my fingers. Does anyone else do this? Like blot with their fingers? So I'm just gonna take off some of the excess oils of my fingers and just like pat them in a little bit. Should really get some blotting sheets, but who needs them when you've got a pair of clean hands? All I just did is blot with my fingers and already it just still looks so smooth. Imagine if I'd used setting spray. I know that it's only been 6 hours, but still, I think that's pretty good going so far. I'm really happy with it so far. Like compared to some other ones that I've tried in the past, I've had some disasters after 6 hours where it's all like breaking up around my mouth and I'm literally like reflecting like a disco ball. So far, I would say that if you do have oily skin, it's gonna get oily. It's not going to stay matte for 6 hours because it's not a matte foundation. We kind of guessed that already, but imagine if I'd have used setting spray with this. Don't want to speak too soon, but so far so good. I will see you guys in another few hours time. So I'm back again. It is now 11:35 in the evening. My phone is yellow because I have night mode that comes on after 11. Although I don't know what the point is in me having it on after 11 when I don't go to sleep until like 2, but... So this has now been on for 10 hours. And okay, at this point, I'm definitely looking very shiny and very oily. However, you know what? It really hasn't sunk in that badly into my smile lines at all. It's starting to break up a tiny bit on my chin. But even on my nose where it is so oily, it still hasn't actually broken up. You can still see my blush and it hasn't sort of separated and gone weird. And it's still like, I know that it looks really oily and I would definitely want to powder this right now, but it still looks smooth. I just want to see, because obviously this has been on for 10 hours. I want to see what happens if I touch up with some powder and see if it looks good to go. I mean, obviously on a regular day, I would powder my face sooner than 10 hours if I was going to be going anywhere and I wanted my makeup to stay looking nice. But if I just sort of like use my hands to get off the excess oil, well, I mean, even that doesn't look bad. So let's just take a little bit of my powder again. So my blush and my bronzer have faded a little bit, and especially now I've just put like a little bit of powder over the top of them. Honestly though, some of my foundations start out looking like this, but the fact that I have just blotted and powdered my face after 10 hours and it still looks this good. It's not all come off my nose, it's not all come off around my nose. This is a bold claim, but I think this might have just made its way into my top foundations. Another foundation that I absolutely love, that is my favourite foundation of all time, that does a similar thing, like it gets oily but it doesn't look gross and it doesn't separate when it gets oily, is the NARS Radiant Longwear. And I actually think in terms of like the smoothness of this, it's kind of similar. This one's like a thicker one, the NARS one feels a little bit more lightweight. I wasn't actually expecting to like it that much because I thought it was going to be way too glowy and I thought it was just going to separate and go bad. I'm quite shocked. I'm really impressed. I'm going to a friend's birthday party tomorrow. and I'm gonna wear this. And I'm quite excited to put it on my face again. Is that really sad? Maybe, probably. I was gonna go through some pros and cons, but honestly, the only con I can think of is the price, because it's expensive. Should I touch up my bronzer and blush over the top of this? Good as new. Well guys, I'm very impressed. I will leave a link down below in case any of you guys are interested. I am now just gonna answer a question of the day. As always, if you guys have got any questions for me to do with anything at all, leave them down below with the hashtag question of the day, because I pick one to answer at the end of my videos. There's a question here from Charlotte Priestley, and she said, can you do a video testing Charlotte Tilbury's new foundation? Love your videos, by the way. Thank you, Charlotte. I hope you enjoyed it. I've just scrolled through all the comments on my previous video and there is not a single question of the day. Maybe that's the end of the questions of the day at the end of my videos. Everyone was too busy leaving their product recommendations, which I massively appreciate because there were so many amazing product recommendations. That is the end of this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, please give this a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already. If you want to see me test anything else, let me know in the comments and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!